My name is Ashley Nicklow, and I'm here to talk to you about autism. And no, it's not a dirty word. But there was one thing that you can either be a part of the beautiful puzzle, or you can be a part of the problem. Autism has always been around. It's been a hidden, unknown diagnosis. It's been shown to be a misbehaved child in a grocery store throwing a temper tantrum, or the parent that can't control their child. But things are not always as they seem. Things are never as they seem. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, that you'll be able to see that as well. Autism has become known around the world lately by its fundraisers and walks and rallies, but it's finally become something that is recognized as a disability, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is a disability. It doesn't mean that they're incapable of having feelings or functioning on a daily basis in a normal routine in today's society, which can be difficult for anyone on the spectrum or not. It's just a little harder for them. It can be a little brighter, it can be a little louder, it can be a lot scarier for them. My mom was a single mom for as long as I can remember. It was just me and my brother. We're 5 years apart, and he was diagnosed with autism in 7th grade. From the time that he was born until today, I've always known he was special. But from the time that he was born until he was 13 and we knew exactly what was going on and how to help him, it was a trial and error. It was trying to find out what made Blue tick. It was a journey that my brother and I were on, and my mother, and it was very scary for all of us. But it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be a bad word. It doesn't have to be something that is avoided in conversation. Autism is a real thing, and there are so many more people in the world that have it that don't know, or that you have no idea that they are dealing with this. Living with autism, helping your loved one with autism, and loving autism itself, it can be difficult. But we can't compare living with autism, rather than not living with autism, or being on a different side of the spectrum than anyone else. It doesn't have to be hard. It really doesn't. Living with autism isn't as difficult as it may come off to be. There are so many resources and professionals with the ability to guide you and help you on your journey. There is a review that was published in February of 2014 in the Journey of the Clinical Psychology Review. It found that multiple studies suggested that outcomes for individuals with autism in some cases seem to improve in their adulthood. But very little research has evaluated adults functioning with autism. Even if individuals with childhood symptoms have improved or shown improvement, no one has a clear picture of where that leaves those individuals when it comes to living with a typical adult life. Most adults that were diagnosed with Asperger's autism have actually grown up to live normal lives, go to college, have a normal job, but of course needing to adjust to a new daily routine will always be trying for them. Entering the workforce while being on the spectrum can be very trying. Changing comfortable routines, communicating with other employees, communicating with customers, it's all very difficult for them. Planning a new routine out for them and making sure that they are comfortable with their ride from home to work is very important for them. Making sure that they know that they're safe. Making sure that they are comfortable with the employees that they're going to be around every single day. Making sure that they either know that they will be facing new customers, which is a new face and a new person every day, or if they will be dealing behind a computer or on the phone with someone. Making sure that they know that everything will be okay. And the only way to do that is to make sure that they do it over and over and adjust properly and are happy with it. We have touched base on the topic of living with autism and different obstacles that they face, but I'd like to touch base on loving someone with autism. Love is a feeling. It's not a disability. What do you mean you don't know how to feel? You don't know what you're feeling. Why are you upset right now? Why are you crying? Why are you laughing? I can't count how many times I've watched someone with autism cry when they should be laughing at a funeral, or just a blank stare in the middle of a funny movie. We all need a hand to hold through a difficult part of our lives. Just because someone with autism may choose to try to ignore those feelings at times, it doesn't make them any less of a trivial moment for them. There have been many times where my brother has looked to me to see my reaction so that he knows how to properly react. That shouldn't be the case. His reaction is his reaction. If he feels like laughing, then he should laugh. If he feels like crying, he should cry. If he feels like screaming, he should scream. Whatever helps my brother, whatever helps anyone struggling with autism, makes them feel better, I want them to do it. I want them to feel better. I want them to feel comfortable. And that's loving autism. Whether you help someone through their journey we call autism, or love them for who they are or not, don't look at a parent with a screaming child in a grocery store with a disgusted look on your face and think that they can't control their child. And don't look at the child for not being able to control their own emotions. There are times in our lives, not being on the spectrum, that we ourselves cannot control our emotions. It's part of being a human. Is there something wrong with that child, or are you actually looking at them in the wrong light? Don't judge a child by his or her actions. As most people know, children are complex beings, but some are going through more turmoil than others. And it's in their minds, and it's in their hearts. And they don't understand all the time. Lights being too bright, loud sounds, things that don't affect us at all, sounds being at a different pitch, flashing lights. It can just send a child or someone with autism into an absolute panic. And they can be a 24-year-old adult sitting at a light in the passenger seat, and one of those tow trucks goes by with those flashing yellow and white lights, and they begin to panic because it's something different and it doesn't feel right to them, and they're very confused. They live their lives being confused on things, and they look to people as to how they should be reacting. And we don't want anyone looking to us to see how we are reacting and it be just disgust or anger at them for being confused or being scared. It shouldn't be something that happens today. Not in today's day. Don't try to tell a parent or a child with autism how they should be raising them. Never try to do that. Unless you are a parent trying to raise a child with autism, you can give them hope, you can give them advice, but you don't really know what it's like. It's very hard and heartbreaking in itself. Every parent is going into this journey, and then they are just as confused as the child is. There's no right or wrong way to raise a child with autism. If you love them and you keep their best interests in mind, you can't go wrong. Keep the parents in mind, though. Whenever you're passing your judgments, they're just as scared as the child is most of the time. Have you ever tried to stop and something that was out of your control but you couldn't? And try living every single day like that. Every obstacle that you face on a daily basis, that you are so confused that it scares you and sends you into a panic. Autism is just a piece of the puzzle that we call life. And we can learn to bring our pieces together. It would be the most beautiful puzzle that we could ever see. What I've come to find in living in my own world of autism is that life without autism would be lifeless. It would be colorless. It would be missing the sweetest smile you could ever imagine on the face of someone who has come to peace with a difficult moment. If one thing that you can think the same thing as I do, then I have come to do what I came to do. Autism is beautiful. It's not an ugly word. And it is out there. And everyone everyone should know. Thank you.